Joining us now, the man of the hour, Coach Scott Wachenheim, 10 toes up, head coach, VMI football. Coach, great to have you with us.
Great to be on, John.
All right, look, Coach, I'm not going to mince words. You snapped a 12-game losing streak to the Citadel in the Military Classic of the South with your 34-21 victory over the Bulldogs. You get shielded from a lot of this stuff, but I've been dealing with football alumni griping for 2 seasons about you, about the program. I was just saying before you came on, I had alumni calling me up, telling me, tell the administration to turn it into a club, like I think Davidson did or somebody. I forget what school they were referring. I had like 3 people tell me that. Now you're in a position after this victory, Coach. You guys can win the conference here. I mean, this was a tremendous victory. Tell me a little about what happened, what is different, what changed, because this has got to be one of the biggest turnarounds ever.
Well, John, it goes back to my initial press conference when they hired me, and if you listen to that press conference, I asked everybody to be patient, that these things take time. I mean, David Cutcliffe at Duke, who's a really good football coach, took him 6 years to have a winning season at Duke, and Duke was in better shape than VMI was when, David Cutcliffe took over and then when I took over here. And we've had some, glimpses during the first couple of years where we were playing some really good competitive football. And then we also had some games where we didn't. But it's been steady progress throughout. I had faith in it and I could see it and I believe in that vision. And, it starts with having core values that your team believes in. And, I believe our team came up with our mission statement of 10 toes down, and then our core values of grit, brotherhood, and purpose, which you saw this Saturday in our win, that our players believe in. And then it also has to do with doing a good job of recruiting. And there's some unique challenges to recruiting here at VMI that we had to learn how to handle and do a good job of. And then it also comes from learning from your mistakes. I mean, there was no document, no manuscript on how to win at VMI. And so, we had to put in place the thoughts and plans that we had and then learn from the mistakes we made along the way and go. And, this year we're starting to see some of the fruits of our labor.
Well, biggest victory in your career, no question. And this was no fluke. This game was no fluke. Somebody could say, well, maybe the East Carolina game, they got a couple breaks. This game was no fluke. You guys were on the road. Citadel is a very good team, 12-game losing streak. I want to get to some of the clips here because they're a lot of fun. Just get your comment. Carol, let's go to cut one. Harris, 61-yard touchdown run, a 61-yard touchdown. I mean, this was kind of an exciting play. Let's get to 61-yard touchdown, cut one.
Crowd to its feet. Udinski, 2 receivers left to right. Ball right hash. Ramsey in the backfield. From the gun, Remidgen in motion right to left. Snap. Ramsey, or rather Udinski, wide open. Catch at the 50. Harris, foot race. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, VMI. Jacob Harris. 61 yards. And that could do it for VMI.
What do you think about that play, Coach?
Well, you go right to the end there. There's so much involved in that. We were up by 13 and or we were up, I can't remember the exact amount, but I believe it was 13. And they drive down and score. And, there's a couple of calls, pass interference call and a targeting call that, wow, they're close, and so I was a little bit frustrated with that. But we get the ball back, and we're trying to run out the clock with 4-minute offense, and we run the ball 2 times. We're faced with third down. Citadel calls timeout, and Coach Shepard and I are talking, and Shep says, "Hey, Coach, you want to run the ball here?" And I said, "Absolutely not. I want to do what we got to do to get the first down." And Brian had an excellent call. It's a base offense. He had it in with motion. Citadel was in a cover 0 blitz. They missed the man trade-off when the motion, receivers exchanged, And great job by Reese getting it off because they were blitzing 6 and we were only protecting with 5. And, Jake Harris, reliable hands with the great catch, showing off the wheels and taking it 61 yards for a score. So was a great feeling. Great job by Coach Shepard with the call, and great execution by our offensive line, Reese, Jake Harris, and Max Brimage, a true freshman who was the receiver in motion.
Another 300-yard passing game by your quarterback, Reese Shadinsky. He's a beast. This was his 9th career 300-yard passing game. He had a total of 335 in this game. All right, let's get to your ground game with Carroll. Let's get to cut 2. Ramsey punches it in 1 yard out.
Ryder set up as a blocking back to the right side. Handoff Ramsey. Runs right. Runs by Ryder and runs into the end zone. Almost untouched. Touchdown VMI. From 1 yard out, Alex Ramsey. Another rushing touchdown. And the Keydets take the lead for the first time today. 5:31 mark. 13-7 VMI.
Boom. What you think of that?
Well, there's a lot to that one, too, as well, John. We got down there on the 1 yard line to play before we went fast tempo, and the snap was high. We're trying to hand it off to Alex on an inside zone play, and the snap was high. And we always have a run adjust on those plays, and Reese comes up with the snap and then is smart enough to throw it out of bounds, so we get to make a second down and one call. And it's a simple power, no pull play for us, and, great design by Kyle Jolly and Brian Shepard. And Alex knows he has one guy he's got to beat. The O-line took care of the guys they had to block and the tight ends. And then, Alex did a great job getting it in from 1 yard out. And I thought it put us in control of the game, the momentum of the game.
And I don't think I've seen Wade Bremer so excited in the last 4 years. He was so excited in this game. Listening to it was absolutely infectious. Now, we've also... Last year, we were very critical, as you know, of your special teams unit. I mean, it was really, you had some pathetic plays out there. I'm going to go to Clemens' field goal here, Kara, closing out the half, his 46-yard field goal. So you also fixed all your special teams problems, not all of them, but the majority of them. Let's get to that Clemens field goal on Saturday. Kara says, wait. I'm getting it. And she says, I don't have that one. Okay. Don't know what happened to that. I'll find it. Let's get to the 28-yard touchdown run, another big play.
28-yard line of the Citadel. Keydets on their opening drive of the second half, leading 17-7. 3 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Play action. Now here's Udinski firing left corner of the end zone for Laura. Makes the catch. Touchdown VMI. 28 yards. Udinski to Javion Laura. And the Keydets extend their lead on the opening drive of the third quarter.
That was the way to start the second half, I can tell you right now. Great catch by Javion Laura. Super throw. Offensive line cannot say enough about the protection they're providing there. The running backs did a good job in pass protection as well. That was just a well-executed play. It's 23-7. Hopefully get ready to be 24-7.
Okay, that's when I thought you guys were going to win, because it was like, okay, we had a good first half. Things are looking good. And I expected this Citadel, they get in the half. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to look, we got to get the ball back, score, get back in this game. I thought that was the key play of the game, or the key drive of the game, Coach. What about you?
Well, there's a lot of momentum changes in the game. To me, the number one biggest play in the game was the Cost fumble by Brett Howell, knocking the ball out of the fullback's hands, recovered by Liam Coughlin. They had taken the opening drive for a 7-0 lead, and then we went 3 and out, and they were driving to make it 14-0. And really all the momentum was on their side, and Brett made a tremendous play on their fullback surge play to knock the ball loose, and Liam recovered. And then we went down there and scored and tied it up. I think the other momentum changes, that helped us win the game is the last 4 minutes of the first half, we went down there and kicked the field goal to go up 6. And then the first 4 minutes of the second half, that play happened to put us up 13. So, we definitely captured momentum at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. And, on that play there, Javion Laura had actually had a drop earlier in the game that was critical for us. But, he made 4 huge plays in the game to help us win, and that was definitely one of them.
All right, tell me about your game. Tell me about, everybody's looking at it this week, and we're going, okay, Another letdown like you had after the win at East Carolina. But you got a big game this week. If you're going to win the conference, this is the big game. Tell me about it.
Well, I don't believe we had a letdown after we beat East Tennessee State University. I mean, Robert Morris came in and played extremely high level of execution. Bernard Clark, their head coach, was coming off the death of his father. They, were allowed to wear the all-gray uniforms, and they were fired up and, had a quarterback from Virginia starting his first game, and they played lights out. And we did not play our best football that day. We played good football. We played inspired football. We just didn't play our best. And at VMI, we got to play our best each and every week in order to win. This week we played the Sanford Bulldogs, and that's the only Bulldog I got on my mind after Monday. It was 100% focused on Sanford. And, there's a term out there, in Japanese term called Kaizen, that means continuous improvement. And, our team is focused on we have to better our best. And that's what championship football teams do. They get better each and every week. The Sanford Bulldogs are a tremendous opponent. They're number one in the SOCON at 38.5 points scored a game offensively. Chris Hatcher, their head coach, has got an offense named after him, the Hatch Attack. He's an air raid guy, played in the air raid offense as a quarterback at Valdosta State. Very smart, intelligent football coach, and will have his team really well prepared. Defensively, they're outstanding as well. They held the Wofford Terriers to only 14 points. And Wofford, as we saw, has a very explosive offense. And then their kicking game is outstanding. So it's a tremendous challenge for us this 1:30 in Lexington to play the Sanford Bulldogs. They've had our number for all 4 years here. They're an outstanding football team and very well coached. And it's Parents' Weekend. Should be a great atmosphere, and I know our young men will show up and give their very best.
Just one other comment I want to make on last week's game. Your defense limited the Bulldogs to 78 yards rushing. 78 yards. I mean, this is a running team. And the Citadel attempted more passes, I think 35, than they had, I think, the past two seasons. I mean, look, we all know you've got a running offense, but I think it was the defense last week that even shocked me, and I'm a fan. I follow every single game. I'm like, where did this defense come from all of a sudden?
Well, I think Coach Tom Clark and his staff had an excellent plan, and I think our players did an excellent job executing it. So my hat's off to Coach Clark and the defensive game plan that him and his staff put together. I think Pat Kuntz, our D-line coach, and we played with 5 D linemen in the game, did an outstanding job teaching to our young men the physicality level that it was going to take to play an option team such as the Citadel. Holding them under 100 yards rushing is a tremendous accomplishment. And, hats off to our players. They went out there, they accepted the challenge. They knew they needed to be more physical than the Citadel in order to stop them, and in my opinion, we were.
Coach Scott Wachenheim, great victory. Now you're on. I know how you operate. That was yesterday's news. Now you're on the Sanford at home. Kickoff 1 o'clock. Our pregame show 1 p.m. across all the John Fredericks networks, WPMH, AM 1010 and 100.1 FM in Hampton Roads, WLES, AM 570 and 90.7 FM in Richmond, Central Virginia. Coach Wack, good luck Saturday.
Thank you, John.